Does novelty rap still exist? Like, do we have like buttermilk biscuit songs today?
I don't know, but is that novelty rap? I mean, do you think that classifies as novelty rap?
Oh, 100%. I think that, like, yeah, I mean, like, certain, but buttermilk biscuits. What was the other one? It was Cotton Eye. Was it the Cotton Eye? There was another early on Mix-a-Lot buttermilk biscuits type song where it was like, here's that voice that they did. So that, I don't know, like I wouldn't put Digital Underground as novelty rap, but then like, I don't know, Two Live Jews and not that was ever a breakout radio hit by any means.
Two Live, I don't know that I'm familiar with Two Live Jews.
Oh, that was just, fuck, I wish I could pull the title. It was something as we want to be, and it was some sort of Yiddish word. It was a complete like parody album.
Well, sure.
And like of like, and speaking of Two Live Crew, which I wasn't, but I mean, who they were obviously parodying.
Right.
I was listening to them and just to kind of like remember, I guess, that time frame, and like I don't know, just kind of like revisiting rap at that moment, and like these guys, how was Two Live Crew? They were only because they were dirty, right?
Oh, like, yeah, yes.
And I will say that I do think the first like 7 songs of As Nasty as They Want to Be they're pretty good rap songs,
right?
Me So Horny, Put Her in a Buck, you know, all, I mean, like they're all sex songs, right? But I mean, like, and they're all misogynistic sex songs, but everything that came before that, and then except for like Do Wah Diddy, which was on the Twins soundtrack, I think.
Yeah,
that was how it
right.
got popular, right?
Yeah.
And there were a few of those. Like they took, and they were clearly using, you know, samples, but they were taking old songs.
Wait, samples in rap?
And then putting their own twist on it. Because the Fat Boys did the Beach Boys song.
Right. So are the Fat Boys novelty rap?
I don't think they started out as novelty rap. I don't think so. I don't think the Fat Boys are novelty rap. Although, because I mean, look, I love All You Can Eat. That's a fun song, but like, right. I don't know. I think a lot of them had like novelty rap songs that helped them cross over. I remember hearing Buttermilk Biscuits on the radio. I just figured there were some that were just like these thrown in songs that seemed like safe white songs, like Nightmare on My Street with the.
Okay, so I mean that's the other question, right? Is Fresh Prince, is that just kind of novelty rap? Because I don't think it's good.
I think it's kid rap.
Right. I was going to say, because that was like one of the first. I mean, how old? When did that come out?
Man, probably 86.
86. Yeah. I mean, because I had that before I had Public Enemy stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like License to Ill would have been what, 87, 86 at the same time frame. Like, I remember those albums kind of in the same vein.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, parents just don't understand Nightmare on My. Yeah, I mean, that whole He's the DJ.
I think I can beat Mike Tyson.
Right. There's nothing. There are no good rap songs on that album.
No. Even though I know like all the words.
Sure, right. I don't mind Nightmare on My Street. This is a stupid ass song, but like it's.
And then like, you know, you had Go Ninja Go.
Right. And Hammer. I mean, but like.
Which I know wasn't Fresh. I know it was Vanilla Ice. I was just
right.
Like, you know.
Well, and Hammer did the Addams Family rap. There were definitely.
But I mean, do you
songs.
remember like when that was on, like the video for that song, didn't it premiere like after Monday Night Football or something one night?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it was like a huge deal.
Do you remember when videos premiered? Like when Madonna's Like a Prayer? Like
Right. Or when Justify My Love you could only find on Jukebox, back when Jukebox was around.
Right. Well, I mean, of course, it all, you know, Jackson started the whole thing, right? I mean, that was, I'm sure he was the one who pioneered all of it. But yeah, I mean, I was like, going back to my point about Two Live Crew, like those guys were never, like they were just a party group, right? They were they had decent beats, and then they had this call out to the crowd. But Luke Skywalker was never a good rapper, ever.
No,
like there's in all of their songs, aside from the first 7 on As Nasty as They Want, and again, I could be the wrong number, but the first side of Nasty as They Want to Be, legit rap songs. And the rest of them are just like, hey, we want some pussy. I mean, like,
yeah, right. And then the crowd would like go back. Yeah. It was just a call and response to the crowd.
Yeah.
About getting laid. I mean, that was it.
Yeah. And their greatest hits is just that too. It's just like,
it's just those songs, those same songs.
Dick Almighty, I think, is my favorite song of theirs, just because I like the drop more than anything else.
Sure, Jason. Sure. That's
also, I do really love the clean version of Me So Horny. Sitting at home watching Arsenio Hall is a great alternative line. Like, I want to know, God, I would have loved to have been in the fucking writing room.
All right, so what do we put here for this?
Sitting at home with my dick up hard, and then what kind of fits into
what has the same sort of syllabic beats, right? Sitting at home with our okay.
There was an old Saturday Night Live skit where Luke Skywalker was on some. Like, it might have been, it was just some talk show. And then, like, Frank Sinatra was there and, like, Sinead O'Connor was there. And all of them were trying to pitch dirty songs to Chris Rock, who was Luke Skywalker. And then they were all like, do it in the butt. It's like, I don't know. There's a lot of butt songs out there right now. I'm like, I don't know what I want to do.
I'm going to do another butt song right now.
So welcome to the Wilhelm Scream.
All right. People. So yeah, let's welcome back, Screamers, to another episode where we try to figure our way out of some very awkward situations. Today we're taking a look at Gregg Araki's follow-up to The Apocalypse with Splendor. We'll also touch on the Danish film Speak No Evil before it gets its English language Hollywood remake. And we might touch a bit on M. Night Shyamalan's concert film Trap.
T-Rap.
Yeah. Jason, anything new?
I mean, you know, life is like a box of fucking chocolates, man. You just never know what you're going to get.
God, that's such a shit movie.
It really is. Like, yeah. And it's still like, people still like it. Like, there's people who still.
Unironically and unapologetically.
It's my favorite movie.
So go ahead, fucking own it.
That movie where that girl gives that guy AIDS.
Right.
I love that movie.
Yeah,
I love the movie where
cool.
He's so forward thinking that he gets AIDS first. He's the first guy to get AIDS.
He did everything else first. Right?
And then, which is ironic because he also got it in his other Oscar winning role.
That's true, right? Philadelphia. Yeah.
That would have been a really.
It's like an extended universe.
Yeah. Like, he had to get AIDS to get smart. But so that was the trade-off, is that Jenny gave Forrest AIDS and then he became a lawyer in San Francisco, but then ended up ultimately dying from it. That's terrible. It's a sad story. But Haley Joel Osment was his kid, right? Haley Joel Osment was his kid at the end.
I don't know.
Excuse me.
You mean in Forrest Gump?
Right. Yeah. Isn't young Gump
Haley Joel Osment? I mean, he does see dead people, which would make sense. I mean,
that's what we should do for all. Like, actors should only get one role, and they can be in multiple movies, but
it's just that role over and over again, right? With the same sort of, emotional beats.
Right. So at the end, it's just this weird hodgepodge of characters in this one movie that makes no sense whatsoever.
So speaking of end of movies with like a hodgepodge of characters, let's jump into Speak No Evil.
All right.
Directed by Christian Toftrup. I don't know how you say Danish names.
I don't either. Right.
This is my husband, Bjørn.
Nice to meet you. I worked for the Médecins Sans Frontières.
You're a doctor?
Yeah.
Where are you guys from? Holland. You should come and visit us.
Kan ik wel aan zo? Ben jij de beste dat je ski?
Yeah, you made it! Hey! Sorry for the mess. Oh, it's nothing. It's gonna get much worse.
Hi, Abel.
Abel has some difficulty speaking. He has what you call congenital aglossia, meaning basically he's born without a tongue. This is the life
It's good that we have a doctor in the house.
I'm not a doctor.
But didn't you say you were a doctor?
Did I? Oh, I lied.
You lied?
Jeg tror ikke, jeg synes, det er så rart at være.
Der er halvanden dag tilbage, det overlever du nok.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So many things have felt so wrong. Because we do things differently.
Mor, jeg er bange.
Ja, nu mor er her, så kan der ikke ske der noget. Jeg vil gerne hjem. Jeg vil gerne hjem nu.
It truly breaks my heart to hear that you haven't enjoyed your stay. Why are you doing this?
This is 2022. A Danish family visits a Dutch family. Well, you know there's trouble right there. Right?
Right.
A Danish family visits a Dutch family. They met on holiday. What was supposed to be an idyllic weekend slowly starts unraveling as the Danes try to stay polite in the face of unpleasantness.
Do we think this is like a treatise on like Danish politeness that they should be wary of being?
It's a geopolitical allegory about the
First,
Danes' place in the world.
Don't vacation in Tuscany, and then for sure, if you get an invite from the Dutch, don't take it.
Just no, stay away from the Dutch,
because they got weird shit going on.
Look, this is a bleak movie. I mean, and I wanted to talk about this because this was 2022, and it played at Sundance in the midnight section, and it became this kind of like underground kind of word of mouth, I think, fan favorite. It didn't really do much at the theaters, and I don't think it had much of a release, especially here, like stateside, right? It's a
weird candidate for a remake too.
Well, this is why I wanted to talk about it, right? Because it's got this English language Hollywood remake with James McAvoy. Blumhouse is doing it, right? And yeah, it's such a bizarre candidate for a remake. I mean, how are they? I just don't know how they're going to do it.
I mean,
and I don't know why I
don't know why you. That's the thing, is that I don't know why you do it. I don't know what the point. Like, why would, like? It's like, to me, it's like remaking Lamb. Or maybe
sure,
English version
sure,
of Lamb, or along the same lines as like. Yeah, there's no need for it, and you're only going to take away the nuance. This is going to end up like The Vanishing. This is going to end up like
yeah, that's a good I mean,
these movies that were better because of the foreign intrigue to an American audience. And
it just speaks to like the laziness of not wanting to read subtitles.
I guess. I mean, but even then, half the movie's in English. I mean, they're speaking.
I know,
and so that's fine. Like, I mean, it's, there's two countries, there's two sets of people that can speak a common language. And the only time we ever get Dutch or Danish subtitles is obviously when they're speaking to one another. And then at certain points when the Dutch are speaking around the Danish and the Danish can't understand them, we don't get subtitles at all, which I think is a really, really cool. Yeah.
I was like, because we're just as confused as the characters are, which is how it should be.
I just feel like everything in the American remake is just going to be ridiculously heavy-handed, telegraphed from the beginning, and the dread is going to be completely lost. Because I don't. Let's talk about the movie first. And then we'll talk about why I think the remake's going to suck.
Well, I think it's going to suck too. But yeah, I mean, this is. Yeah, so Bjorn and. What's her name? What's Bjorn's wife's name?
Jules? Is it something Juliet? Is it Juliet? Or am I conflating that with the other film that we watched that we're talking about next episode? So many names.
Louise.
All right. Yes, so I am.
So like,
stay tuned, listener. There'll be a movie with the girl named Jules in it later on.
Wait, will there? Oh no, Julieta.
Julieta.
Yeah. Okay. Another weird movie.
Yes.
So Bjorn and Louise are this kind of like average sort of middle class couple, right? With a young daughter.
And they have like liberal trappings. They're like white apologists.
Sure.
Right?
But they're kind of at this, I mean, this vacation in Tuscany, it's almost like a resort type thing where they're all kind of there communally with like, they don't know everybody, but they're all sort of staying in the same place. They all eat together.
Yeah, those places are fucking nightmares, by the way.
Well, clearly, judging by this movie, but they are, and this is where I think, well, I mean, the kind of inciting event of this film is that Bjorn is just sleepwalking through life,
right,
and then they meet this other couple, right, around the same age,
they have a kid,
same profile,
age.
same age kid, and you can just see Bjorn is already smitten with this other guy, and he's like, he's oddly charismatic. He is. It's not even that he's so magnetic, but he almost like grows on you, or at least me. Right, I'm watching this guy going, I'm like, oh, okay, I don't get it, and then a little bit later, I'm like, oh no, okay, I would totally hang out with this guy. Yeah, right. I understand.
He's cocksure and vulnerable enough. Like, kind of, it's a weird combination of both of those things. Like, where you don't feel like you're lesser than him, but you're just kind of just drawn into his personality.
Yeah, it's like he's the cool guy, but he also likes you for you. You know, like
right. Really, he's not trying to change you. He doesn't. He's supposed to be your friend.
No, and he wants you to use those claws, baby.
Right.
And understand. So you can see kind of how Bjorn falls into this kind of trap, or, you know, once they hang out on vacation and they go home, Bjorn is still thinking about these people.
Right.
And so when the invitation comes to spend time, you know, in the Netherlands, which, but look, the name's right there. I mean, the trouble's in the name. Right. You know, his wife, Louise, is kind of not on board, but he kind of, you know, in a way wears her down, or he's the one who really wants this kind of escape, right?
The thing that this movie does so well is that interplay, and how Bjorn is kind of a dick. And this is kind of how he leads himself and his family into this situation. Because like, he's forceful with his family to a certain extent, but then like when push comes to shove and there's this awkward situation, he puts the onus of the decision on his wife. And like, well, you're the one that said you didn't want to be here and you wanted to go home. Are you good with the situation now that they've apologized? And it's just like, fucking,
I know.
How can I answer no at this point?
Right.
I think that whole interplay, and I think the way that they chose the actor, and again, I don't want to like get into too much of like the visual, you know, politics of his makeup, but like him slightly kind of balding, him being skinny, but not exactly like, you know, he's just a dude, right? He's just this.
He's a little doughy. He's a little.
He's just a guy who's always kind of been in the shadows.
Yeah. I mean, probably has a cubicle job. I mean, and I don't mean, I'm just trying to think of it that he hates and that he's bored at.
Right.
But I mean, he just wears that, and I think that's, you know, in the casting, but also in his sort of physical presence. He's so good at that, at showing just how kind of bored with life he is. Right. I mean, yeah. From the kind of,
he's a guy who wears Birkenstocks,
comb over. Right.
With long pants.
And socks.
And socks. No offense to anybody who does that.
But I bet he doesn't even wear Birkenstocks anymore. I bet he wears like those Tiva ones, right? Or the Chacos, or what are those?
I don't know.
Okay.
You're lucky that I could say Birkenstock.
They're like a little more athletic, like strappy sandals that men wear. I don't know, but still with socks.
Strappy sandals.
And a fanny pack around his waist and not over his shoulder, like the cool kids wear now.
Yeah, he only wears Birkenstocks on the weekends when he's not doing anything around the house.
Wow. Wait, anyway, so you're saying you never wore Birkenstocks?
No, I've never worn Birkenstocks.
Really? Never?
No.
Oh, I used to.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah. I mean, I also like, well, never mind. I was going to say, my beard used to be bigger and I used to wear tie-dye.
Where's your hacky sack collection?
So
did you have to get rid of
I never, no, I I love to throw a frisbee around, but I never hacky sacked.
Oh, yeah.
Partly because I was too drunk. I could never stand up like on one leg. So I would just like fall over.
It's ironic that hacky sack and drug use don't go well together.
It's weird, right?
It should.
I know. Yeah, because the coordination was just not there.
So back to the story. They take a trip out to the Netherlands, and they're out in this kind of remote location. And they're staying with them. And so everything kind of like, obviously this, if you've ever seen any sort of uncomfortable interaction movie before, everything starts to rear its ugly head immediately, right? They're staying in a smaller bedroom. Like it's this ranch home that they're staying in this smaller bedroom. Their daughter's going to be sleeping on the floor in this other kid's room on a small, and then everything's fine, right? But they don't know these people well enough to like be at that level of comfort. Yeah. And then, they intentionally make this vegetarian eat meat. Of course, none of this is presented as intentional, obviously. But I think we all know the conceit of the film, and we understand where this is going to end up going. Right. I mean, eventually, not necessarily the exact destination, but we've seen this road before. And so they make her eat meat. And then really, they didn't really make her. She chose to eat meat because she was too polite to say that to remind them she was a vegetarian. She
wasn't sort of assertive enough to really rebuff.
Right.
Oh no, I insist. And even her husband, just a little bit.
And there's
don't be rude.
And the creepiest thing about the whole thing is that their son is the son of the couple, the Dutch couple. He has no tongue. Or he has a smaller tongue because they say he's got a condition where he was born with a...
Yeah, because he doesn't talk. You never hear him say a word.
And so, then shit just gets weird, right? They go to this Roadhouse diner and they're the only 4 people there. They get a babysitter, but they don't ever tell the people that they're getting a babysitter. Right. So they leave the kids at the house with this unknown stranger. And so they go, and then they're really affectionate at the Roadhouse.
That's a kind way of putting it. I mean, they're just like they're all like over each other. Right? Yeah. And at one point, the Danish couple are just standing there.
Right. They get in a curtain to go and awkwardly white dance, and then the other couple is just completely making out with each other.
It's kind of like that scene from Nowhere with Ryan Phillippe having sex against the wall.
Right.
At the party.
And then, and so then they decide to leave. Like they're like, look, we've had enough of this. We're going to leave in the middle of the night. And the recurring theme is that this couple's daughter keeps leaving her bunny behind.
Fucking stupid bunny.
And he has to go and find it. And that's kind of the impetus of the whole thing, right? I mean, like he goes throughout Italy looking for this bunny. Bjorn does, and then when he finds the bunny, they meet up with the couple, and the couple's like, "Oh, you're a good father. Yeah. I wouldn't have done that myself. Yeah. Respect." Right. And so he goes, and the daughter's crying, and the father, kind of moved by this again, goes back to the apartment to find the bunny. When lo and behold, the bunny was in the car the entire time, which is, I mean, fine. I was happy what happened to her at the end of the movie at that point. Like,
because you're like, you dumb little... No.
So they all go back inside. And of course, this is a matter of whether people, why were you leaving? And we didn't know you. We forgot you were a vegetarian, and we're sorry that our affection for one another makes you uncomfortable. And,
it's all this gaslighting.
Right. And like, today is going to be a great day. Like, I can't believe you're leaving. Or so I'm dumbstruck. I can't believe all this stuff is happening. And Bjorn's like, well, do you want to stay? Which I would do just personally, just because it's a nice fuck you just to my partner. I'm like, it's your choice.
Hey, I mean, like, you made us.
I'm good with leaving or not leaving. You just, but you seem like you really want to leave. Can you tell them you want to leave? So they end up staying, and the day does turn around. It gets a little better, but then this is where the dance sequence is. So if you've seen the preview for Speak No Evil, the American version, this is the dance sequence where everything starts to unravel at this point.
Like, violently unravel.
Right. And then they start seeing things around the grounds. And the Dutch couple, the Dutch husband sees Bjorn and Louisa have sex.
Yeah.
Where their daughter is crying. She wants to get into their room. And this is a weird moment. Like, right. I don't truly understand the motivations of the mom to like get past or continue to have sex while your daughter's crying outside of the room.
I know. Because also, like, what about that entire situation is sexy?
Right. I didn't understand her motivation in that moment of like, what is she trying to prove? Is she trying to feel like she's still in love with Bjorn, or that there's
my brat of a kid can keep crying, it's fine?
Right. Or she's annoyed with the daughter in some sense, because it's only used then to fuel again another awkward situation where like they try to leave again, and they're like, well, because we found our daughter in bed with the Dutch couple and you were naked, and they're like, well, where were you? Like,
yeah,
she was crying, we had to do something. It wasn't like we just did what you should have done. And then it all unravels. Bjorn finds that they've been doing this to all these other couples.
Well, he finds pictures, right? He finds
a bunch of like suitcases.
Yeah. Yeah. So like luggage and pictures of the Dutch couple with other couples with all kids around the same age. Right. And then he finds a picture with Abel, right? And that's the kid's name.
Right.
He finds a picture with Abel, who's smiling with these,
other family
presumed to be his parents. And then they figure out like, oh shit. And of course, at that point, we know exactly what's going to.
And Abel ends up drowned in a pool of some sort. Yeah. They try to run away. They end up in the car with the Dutch husband. What's the Dutch husband's name? Patrick. And they stop. Some people come in and grab the daughter, cut her tongue off.
Well, the wife cuts her tongue off.
The wife cuts her tongue off.
And then the babysitter comes and grabs her and takes her away.
And then they drive them off into this quarry, and Patrick and his wife make them strip down to nothing. They take their clothes off and make them walk into this kind of, like I said, just a kind of a pit, essentially, and then stone them to death.
So let me ask this question. At this point, why not just run?
I think because of the daughter, right?
No. I mean, I understand like psychologically they are just resigned to their fate at this point. But like, why not? Like, they don't have a gun on them, right?
Right.
So it's like, because they go down to this pit willingly, they walk down them by themselves, and they hug each other, and then the rocks start coming. But it takes a while. And I'm just kind of like, I feel like you could have gotten out of the range of the rocks and then tried to figure something. I don't know.
I think it was just emblematic of their entire persona.
Right.
I mean, like, they don't really fight. They try to hold on to their daughter, but that doesn't really work. And like, Bjorn is in the front seat vomiting, right? I mean,
Patrick beat the shit out of him.
Sure, but I mean, like, but even then, you still don't continue to try to fight back.
I know.
Like,
I know.
As your daughter's being pulled out of the car, you're not trying to like. They're screaming and crying, but they're really not doing anything.
Right.
And I think that just speaks to their, gliding through this life with no conflict whatsoever. Yeah. And the sequence where, they embrace one another and Louisa gets hit in the back of the head. You don't really see it, right? You don't really see, you hear it. And then she collapses and he's trying to hold her up, and then she gets hit again. And then Bjorn gets hit, and like the way the filmmaker frames all of the rocks coming in, and there's these they're like these pasty white Danes, right? And like they're and then these rocks come in and hit them, and their bodies just like bruise.
These bruises just bloom up.
And then they're just they're just bludgeoned to death, and that's it. Roll fucking credits.
Yeah. I guess I brought that up. To me, that's the one sort of weirdly like plot hole where I'm like, where, like, I guess the fight or flight thing just didn't, because there was like neither.
I feel like these people are resigned to their life, whatever life presents them anyway, right? So this is just another scenario where, okay, well, here's where we are.
Yeah.
And we haven't really, and maybe that's the reason Louisa like takes the moment to fuck Bjorn and it's just like, I'm going to take this one, like I'm going to do something, right? I mean, I'm going to finally like push back against everything that's going on around me and own the moment that I want to own, even if it's with this guy. And I'm going to take something for me. And that's and it obviously ultimately backfires in the moment and, in the long term. I think I wasn't overly surprised that they didn't do much more.
Yeah.
Just because they were so outclassed. And I think there's something, I don't know if it's beautiful is the right word, but I do feel like there's something honorable about being resigned to your fate. Like at the moment of like, all right, yeah, we could fight back and make this, we could elongate it. And hell, maybe we could even escape it. But you know what? All right, we had a good run. Throw the stones.
So I do think there's a reading of this film that is largely political in the fact that we are kind of complicit in these, whether they're world tragedies or smaller tragedies or whatever that we see going on around us all the time, and we just never speak up. Right. And we kind of do this thing of like, well, I don't need to say anything. Nothing's really going on. I don't have to.
And we'll excuse it, right?
Yeah.
We'll make ourselves comfortable however we need to make ourselves comfortable. Yeah. And we'll ignore our discomfort by pretending that everything is okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And then eventually we have our voices taken away from us anyway.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think also too, like the last words spoken in this film, Bjorn asks, "Why are you doing this?" And Patrick says, "Because you let me." Right. And I mean, I think that again, like speaks to that kind of political reading too. It's like, you continue to let us and let me do this to you without ever speaking up or stopping. So yeah, that's what you get.
Right. I really liked this movie. I want to go back and revisit the other films of theirs. They're not easy to find. So, but I'm interested to go back to see the first couple.
Parents is on
Tubi. Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to rent it. It's like for 99 cents on like Apple TV or something.
I'm sorry. So. It is 99 cents on Apple TV. I'm thinking of the movie we're talking about next episode. So the Star of Acres.
Oh, okay.
First film. On Tubi.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later. But yeah, Parents sounds really interesting. And then there's the other one. I forget. It's like a angry woman.
Yeah. I forget the translation, but yeah. So how are they going to make that? How are they going to remake this?
So yeah, I can't imagine them sticking to the ending. I can't imagine that you're going to undress two American or English actors, make them come stand completely, fully frontally.
Yeah, where's Scoot from?
I don't know. And then stone them. I don't feel like I don't feel like they can be quite this mean in this.
Well, and you've seen the trailer. They already fight back more in this or more in the remake than they do.
And that's the other thing about the trailers. I think it gives way too much away.
Yeah.
Like there should, like, why are you giving away the dance scene? And like McAvoy's playing this again I know I say this a lot, but to the rafters in this case. He's not like Patrick. Patrick is not, he's not scary at any moment. Even in the scene where he's yelling at Abel, it's not violent necessarily. It's just weirdly off-putting, right?
It's like Bad Dad.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, you're just like, oh God, you're a dick. He
throws the cup down. See, but that's more, he's breaking a gift that those people gave him more than anything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
This I love that sequence too. Oh, you brought us coffee mugs.
And the mermaids.
Well, that's a good gift. And then Patrick's like, yeah, I've heard about it. It's smaller and it's not as impressive as people say it is. And it's like, no, there's a good story to it. Like, okay, whatever, whatever, you fucking Danish motherfucker. Like, no one gives a shit. Denmark sucks. All right, it's fine. But yeah, I don't know, like everything to me, this feels like it's going to be Shyamalan, right? I mean, it feels like it's going to be just like there's no subtlety here whatsoever. And McAvoy is just menacing from the get-go. And like, And that's the other thing, is that not that you had to cast unknowns, not that McAfee's not necessarily right for this role, but like Patrick's not an attractive guy. And like, so you seem like you're going to base the reason they get involved with these people because they're idyllic, right? And they're better looking than the other couple. And like McAvoy's strong and he's buff and he's, I mean, like, and so he just comes across as a guy you're not going to fuck with in this film anyway, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. It just feels like all of the subtlety will go right out the window. There'll be some sort of explanation about why they're doing something, and that's some sort of cabal that they're a part of, right? I mean, or some greater conspiracy. There won't, this nihilism and dread just won't exist, and I don't think in this other in the US version. And I hope that I'm wrong, but I feel like if you're giving away everything that you're giving away in the trailer, specifically the tongue cut,
because you see the kid in the remake trailer like mimic right scissors, as I'm doing now. I'll just add in some sound effects later, right? Of someone getting the tongue cut off. I mean, so you see that action in the trailer, and there's nothing left. I mean, like, what do they think? That everyone went and saw like the Danish film first, and they're just, so they already know the beats? Like, why would you give that away in the trailer?
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, and I know you don't want to do complete bait and switch, but why wouldn't you just have this movie be about like I would love if the trailer were just about two couples vacationing in Italy. Yeah. And then the title comes up, Speak No Evil. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, think about how great a viral marketing ploy that would be. Now, granted, you'd get a lot of people pissed off, but who cares?
Who gives a shit?
If they pay dollars to come see your movie, why would you care?
Yeah, because I mean, have you ever gotten a refund for a bad movie?
No.
I was going to say. so like, who gives a shit?
But wouldn't that be amazing? Like, to have this be just like moments from like
sun-dappled like Tuscany, right?
Cheer it.
Four couples.
They're all toasting
laughing and partner swapping. Oh wait,
right. And then at the end of and then the title comes up with this bizarre. Why is it called Speak No Evil?
Yeah, right. That sounds great. I'd be like, I'm going to go see that.
I'm going to see
what is that?
Right.
Is that Diane Lane? It's a different movie, but it's still in Tuscany.
Just that, that when they did that Shining trailer, it was way back in the early internet days when they did the Shining trailer remake to Salisbury Hill by Peter Gabriel to make it seem like it's a romantic comedy kind of thing. That's what they should have done here. But now you've seen pieces of the final third of the film. Like, I mean, like, so none of this is gonna like be surprising whatsoever.
No. I mean, this entire movie, I was watching and just waiting. I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And then I'm like, oh shit.
Right. And the thing that this film does so well too, is that there are moments of dread that are built that don't have payoffs in this. So you're kind of lulled to sleep in a lot of senses. Like, maybe this won't turn out as bad. Maybe it is just a misunderstanding the movie.
Yeah. Like, and then no.
Right. But you have this ominous music and this empty background, and then nothing happens. And you get back to a moment of like, oh, well, yeah, they're gardening together. It should be fine. Yeah. We're all good.
They're just really weird people. I really like the sound editing in this and how like sound would cut out, or it would be like muddled from sort of Bjorn's point of view as he sort of, dipped into something else.
And that's the other thing. The language barrier plays such a big role, and it doesn't seem like that's going to exist in this new version. Like, and so if everything is understood and there's no miscommunication, or
are they going to like the Welsh country or something in the new one?
I don't have any idea.
Oh, okay.
Because it could just be any random farmhouse at this point, right? I mean,
so they could speak Appalachian. So there could be a language barrier.
Maybe so. Anyway, check out
the original
Speak No Evil. It's on Shudder. Watch that. Definitely watch that before you go into this one, because I have a feeling this is going to be a much superior film than the James McAvoy version, which I don't know who's directing it, to be honest.
I don't either.
And I don't care.
All right, you want to talk a little bit about Trap?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay, we don't have to spend a ton of time on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Lady Raven.
Hurry, come on.
Wait. I gotta tie my shoe.
No dad jokes. This is serious. Come on.
I'm sorry. Lady Raven!
This is slap dad. Thank you. This is literally the best day of my life.
Hey, I gotta go to the bathroom. I can leave you here in the seat.
I'm good, Dad.
Right? Hi. Psst. Cooper. Jamie. What's with all the police trucks outside? The cameras everywhere, Jamie. I'm not supposed to tell. Something happening? Don't rat me out. I won't. You know the butcher? The freaking nut job that goes around just chopping people up? Well, the feds or whatever heard that he's gonna be here today. So they set up a trap for him. This whole concert, it's a trap. They're watching all the exits, they're checking everyone that leaves. There's no way to get out of here.
Dad.
I'm sorry, Riley, what was that?
Your daughter's never gonna forget this day.
Be kind of dope, right?
This is a father and his teen daughter attend a pop concert only to realize they've entered the center of a dark and sinister event.
So these movies now, like now we've entered the phase, and I said that we entered the Brian De Palma phase of Shyamalan.
Yeah.
But these movies now Shyamalan is just making movies to promote his
kids.
family's career,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you got Watcher, which was, I didn't see.
It was,
I heard it was pretty bad. I mean, it was boring, right? It was boring.
yeah, like it wasn't great, but it could have been a lot worse.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, okay.
Did she have a cameo in it? Did she put it herself in the movie?
I don't think so.
Well, there you go. Then it's already better than Shyamalan. And so now this is a movie that we're trying to make Shyamalan's daughter a pop star.
It's a concert. I mean, she has had original music in like other movies and other TV shows. And I guess she tours and stuff. I don't know.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I think she's open for like people around the country. I mean, I think she's bigger than, I don't think we would have ever known this because we're not.
Does she go by Lady Raven? Is it?
No, she just goes by her first name though.
Oh.
So it's, you know, like Beyonce or Sting, but like not,
right.
Not that.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
So
look, I mean, the music wasn't like, it wasn't awful. I wasn't like,
yes, it was. Stop it. Yes, it was.
I mean, yeah, it was bad, but I mean, like,
yeah,
but it's no worse, I guess, what I'm saying, than anything else I'd hear on the radio necessarily.
Right. I don't think so. Was it better or worse than the music in The Idea of You? Was that the name of the movie?
The Idea of You,
or the thought of, or the one with Anne Hathaway, the boy band.
Oh.
What was that? Wasn't it?
Yes. You're right. They're the same. I can't.
Okay.
They're the same.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
Do we find it weird that maybe I was just the wrong age? Has there like a reclamation of NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys? That was bad music when it came out, right? That was
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
And look, I don't mind, like, I know Bye 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 is an earworm. But
sure.
But I don't like that, but that was, I mean, like it wasn't, I think it was a step up from like NKOTB, right? New Kids on the Block was
but all of that stuff was just playing towards screaming preteen or teenage girls. Like that was it. And no offense to preteen teenage girls, but you're screaming that loud. I mean, go back to Elvis, go back to the Beatles.
Sure.
A lot of that was just screaming, oh, let's play to them. And then the Beatles had talent enough to move past that, where NSYNC, 98 Degrees, New Kids did not.
I feel like, and I understand nostalgia. I get that. I mean, I get that people want to go back and they listen to things they listened to before. I mean, I just told you I was listening to Two Live Crew.
I was going to say,
it's not like, I mean, but I acknowledge that it was bad music. I feel like it seems like we've kind of circled back, and not in a Ryan Adams 1975 way, but like we're circling back in 1985. What the fuck is the name of that album? I don't even care anymore. Like, I've already bored myself with this conversation. The Ryan Adams remake of the Taylor Swift album.
1984?
Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay. But I mean, like, we circled back, and now we're okay with NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys as being like auteurs of some sort.
Oh, gas. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
But the music in this film in Trap is not. Anyway, I mean,
it plays to what it's the premise of the film. Right?
Sure,
it's a Taylor Swift, right? It's which is kind of, I guess, the denograting to Taylor Swift. I know she's not necessarily my thing, but like,
right. But it is kind of a play on like the Eras tour, right?
Right. Yeah. So yeah. Well, let me say, I think here's the thing that let's focus on the good parts of it.
Okay.
I think Shyamalan has a unique talent for working with young actors. I think the daughter in this is fabulous.
Yeah.
I think there's and I mean the daughter, Josh Hartnett's daughter, not his daughter.
No, I understood. I understood.
Terrible.
She was really bad. And that was her first acting date.
Yeah,
and you can tell.
This is a Blue Ivy Carter kind of in the Lion King act. It's awful. But that girl, and I apologize that I don't know her name.
Ariel Donahue.
She was outstanding.
Yeah.
Like, and again, all she had to do was act like a girl her age. But there's a level of like confidence to be that kind of vulnerable in this role, and like I don't know, just to be authentic, that part of it. And I think Hartnett actually was really good.
I thought Hartnett was good too.
Everything else about this movie is garbo.
What the
It is
fuck?
Absolutely garbage. And it's not like and I like when I said to you, it's like this is when he's reached his Snake Eyes De Palma stage, where everything is, there's nothing hidden. Like, he's gone so far beyond the I'm the twist guy.
Yeah.
He's put everything out in front. He's like, I'm just going to show you how all the tricks are done.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to hold back whatsoever. I don't understand any of this movie.
No.
I just don't get it. Like, I was desperately, so I mean, the whole premise, the guy's a serial killer. He takes his daughter and they find that, they found a ticket stub or ticket receipt in one of his houses, and that he holds these people in, that he's killing all around Philadelphia. And so they know he's going to be at this, or they think he's going to be at this concert. 3,000 men, they're going to interview all of them. Evidently, crime can happen anywhere else in Philadelphia tonight, because we're going to find this guy.
And is this in no way like a violation of people's like Fourth Amendment rights?
Absolutely. Never fucking do this.
Okay.
You wouldn't be able to hold people.
Which, like, okay, sure, like whatever. Let me just I was like, I can suspend disbelief on some of this stuff.
Sure.
Right? Like, okay.
But okay, like none of it, like, every plot contrivance is a matter of convenience.
Right.
Like, there are moments in this film where he escapes, or that he gets caught in some sort of sense, and they're all ridiculous. Like, how they're all set up is completely stupid. Like the fact that Lady Raven gets his phone and can look at the dude and talk to the dude that's being captured, although it is a highly encrypted app that's on his phone.
But it was just open.
It was just open. I desperately wanted this film. So anyway, they go to the, again, no, I don't want to bounce around. I just want to talk about the plot real quick.
Yeah.
So they go to the thing. He ends up getting his daughter up on stage. This is how he gets backstage. So he thinks he can get out that way. Then he blackmails Lady Raven by saying, hey, I'm the killer you're looking for, and I need you to take us out of this place. So she's like, takes him out of this place. They take him out of the concert venue. That's the only way they can get out is without being interviewed, is to go through, and they're in her limousine. And then Lady Raven turns the tables on them, takes them to her house because his daughter's in the car with him. They go to her house. She gets his phone, locks herself in their bathroom, and like implores her fans to find this kid who's been kidnapped. And then the whole thing starts to unravel because the family starts to find out that, oh yeah, your dad's this serial killer. And then it's just then from there, it's a matter of like false ending and false ending and false ending. Like he gets caught and he escapes, and he gets caught and he escapes. And then all these things happen. Like the last time he's finally arrested in his home, like his wife is like, and it turns out that his wife is the one who thought he was having an affair and followed him. And then she found out that he was that she thinks that he might be the serial killer. So she took the tickets to Lady Raven, the receipt, and left it in one of his homes, tore it up so it could look like an accident, and blah, blah, blah. So and then she poisons him, or she puts sleeping pills in his pie or whatever. So then he gets arrested, taken outside, and they allow him to hug his daughter and ride a fallen over bicycle, which at that point he's able to pull a spoke off of.
A spoke.
Like a good 3 foot, not 3 feet, but I mean a good 12-inch spoke.
It's right? Not a paper clip.
And then this is everybody in Philadelphia looking for him. They put him in the back of this thing, and then he can use the spoke to like the camera zooms in on the missing spoke, which is how hackneyed and pathetic this film is. And then like but we're supposed to think that the 8 million cops that are in Philadelphia didn't look at the bike when he put it up on it. You know, there wasn't anybody on the other side of the bike who saw him pull a spoke off.
I know. How would you not see that?
You can just yank a spoke and be fine, and it just comes right off.
Maybe it was loose.
Maybe he set that entire thing up just in case he was supposed to get captured.
Right. He has a false spoke.
And it's, and then it's happy ever ending for everything, right? I mean, like the bad guy gets away, but we're supposed to be blah, blah, blah. He's supposed to be, a good dad, etc. And then, but also all the people who got killed get away. I mean, like, are the people who were going to get killed get away? Right. And I desperately, when they were sitting there in the house and Lady Raven was playing the song, I desperately wanted the daughter to come and stab the Lady Raven in the neck. I thought for sure that the family knew he was the serial killer.
Me too.
That would have been like people, like, how do you miss that? How do you miss that layup, Shyamalan? I mean, because people would still be talking about your movie.
Or when she's in the bathroom and she's like, your dad's the butcher. And what if you just heard, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, something like just.
Yeah, or like he's not the only one.
Well, and even then, when Hartnett comes back into the house right after having gotten away, and the kids are with Alison Pill's sister. I love Alison Pill, by the way. And he comes back in. I thought again, like for sure, she's going to be in on it. She has known mad that he got caught.
Right.
Oh, you were fucking sloppy. Something.
Right.
But no, we just have like your basic kind of.
And like, why Haley Mills? Like, why is she in this? Like, why?
Parent Trap.
Yeah, God damn it. I mean,
no, that's it. Come on, that's it.
I mean,
because of the Parent Trap.
That is not funny.
No, but that's what it is. That's what it is.
Oh God. I mean, that's.
I saw that name come up and I was like,
this is where you're at.
Yes.
This is the level of filmmaking that you make. And look, I know it's a ridiculous point to bring up at this stage. Stop with your fucking cameos, man. Stop putting yourself in the movie.
And giving yourself lines.
Right. I don't like. You're not. Hitchcock at least had the common sense.
Would just walk through the film.
Just walk through and show up and be gone.
Yeah.
You're not an actor. And every time you show up, everyone groans.
Yeah.
Everyone's, oh, fuck it. Here we go. And like, this is, it's the dumbest fucking thing in the world. And like, I'm just like, why are we doing this yet again? In this movie, I'm just like,
I don't know why this movie ever left the concert.
No, it didn't. No, you're right.
Stay there, make it claustrophobic, right? I mean, change I don't know, figure out a new ending, but this doesn't have to be,
because there are moments that are tense. Like I think most of the interactions in this movie are all contrived.
Yeah.
Like it didn't need any of the bullshit. It didn't need the concession stand worker. It didn't need the other mom. Like,
right.
Like none of that pays off. And so why have it in there? Like you don't need it. I mean, like, have him be able to get the convenience store, or the concession worker, or the merch guy, the merch table guy. Okay, you might need him to get you backstage, but I mean, like, even then, you can still, like, the easiest thing to do, like, hey, can you look in that box for my daughter, and then grab the fucking thing out of his back pocket.
It could have, right? You could have done that
anyway. That. You don't need this stupid comic relief. This is not fucking.
Well, it feels like a play on sort of Get Out with Lil Rel.
Right, Lil Rel. This guy's not Lil Rel.
No.
And
you have, I mean,
you're doing at this point now is you're just cribbing much better movies?
Absolutely. I understand the want to make Hartnett look like a good father, and I think he is. I think they're really good together. I think you can sort of see how much this event means to him because it means so much to her, and that's good in how it complicates the character, right? And we see him interact with people, and maybe he's trying to show more of his character and show how he can kind of, do a sort of human hacking on people, right? But it just seems so forced and so cheesy.
Yeah.
I mean,
like the sequences where he's with the cops, actually, that was pretty good. I mean, like where he's like, where do you
keep the sugar? Shift, right? And he's like, okay, got it. Yeah.
Right. And then you see him, like, as he's walking through the crowd, kind of loot the changes in his face.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. This should have never left the arena. And it's just so dumb. Like it from a guy who made quite possibly 3 or 4 of the best modern day Hitchcock films.
Yeah.
And like legitimate great films. Like that were framed so well, that were filmed so well, that the tension was built, that the music was perfect. Look, and I know that everyone has, nits to pick with a lot of them, right? I mean, like Unbreakable ends with the kind of rug pull, which this could have used. The Signs, you misinterpret what he's trying to say in Signs, and the water thing seems to be tricky. And then the village, I don't know. I mean, like if you people start to lose the thread, right? When the village comes out, and then, right. But I mean, even then, like, right, if you even want to include the village in there, it's still, his reveal in the village is what really kind of like, it's not so much the twist of the village is not that great, but I mean, like, but the way that it's revealed, and it's that with him and the fucking coffee pot and just fuck you, like it's. So there's things that can pull away, but I mean, like, but he had a moment, and it just seems like, how did we get here? Like, because like the only thing that you've really done that has been surprising, significantly decent is Split from there. The found footage of The Visit, I didn't really care for.
I was going to say, I mean, I don't think The Visit is flawless, but I do think it's better than some of the other ones that.
It's still a silly ass premise.
Yeah, sure. In the white rapper kid, yeah.
And that's the other thing is he really can't get out of his own way in this case anymore. Like with Old, it's just like. It's one just kind of grotesque more than it is anything else, right? I mean, like, I'm not even talking about like the body horror portions of Old, just like how you treat your characters and how you treat your conceit. Like it's not consistent in this, and that's the thing that you were so good at.
Yeah.
If you look at The Sixth Sense and how well it's put together, and how just tight all of the pieces are, and how well he does, like the clothing that Willis wears and the use of the red, and like. How he is so delicate with giving you clues, but not giving the entire thing away. And for them to come to this, where you're just like, all right, here it is. And whatever we need this character to do, he can do because, you know, it's a movie and who gives a shit. And like, I'm like, all right, well, I mean, like, but that's the thing is you set up greatness and now you've just followed it up with like this. Like, I don't give a shit about your kid, man. I don't care like if your kid can sing or not.
That's what this is. It's just.
And like you also know she can't act. Like, so, I mean, as good as you are with the daughter, you're terrible with yours. You could have made anybody get in the limousine.
So what this is, this really is a film about his failings as a father. Right. It's a meta commentary on how he's trying to help his kids, but is actually hindering his kids.
And yes, that is basically it.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it is.
It's Shyamalan's most personal film to date. No, I hate it. I walked out of the theater. I was like, it was stupid. I just didn't.
Yeah, I mean,
I did not like it. I thought that it was, the choices were so unnecessary. I thought a lot of the choices were just unnecessary and obvious, and yeah, I thought you could have done better there, M. Night.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you absolutely could have. So anyway.
Yeah.
Shocker that an M. Night Shyamalan movie sucked. There's the real twist.
They just keep getting made. Too,
right. Well, because here's the point. At this point, he bankrolls all of his own stuff.
I know.
Right?
But this was a Warner Brothers film, wasn't it?
Distributed.
Well,
like he put up all of his money. Like I think he bankrolled Old. I know he bankrupted The Visit.
Well, and I think it was The Visit. That was the first one, right? Where he was like, okay, fine, I just got to do this myself. And then it made money, and then Blumhouse got involved with everything that he does now. And
right. So Split, he did like, I mean, like at this point, it's all like he mortgages his house.
Yeah, he finances it,
and I guess I don't know if he did the same thing with Knock at the. I don't know if it's like if he's gotten back into good graces where he can make back his money, he doesn't have to put his, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure he has by now.
And I mean, like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think Knock at the Cabin Door, like the premises on their face is enough to do a decent opening weekend. And then in this case, I mean, you're going up against.
Well, you're also getting, I mean, like these different actors than you had.
Right. So right. It's not. Yeah, you're not no budgeting this anymore. So
right. Yeah. I mean, I think Bautista is great. So I don't know like how much you have to pay Bautista.
I think. I mean, it can't be much. I mean, it can't be. I mean, especially if you give him an opportunity to act,
pay him what Vin Diesel gets paid.
But I'm saying like Bautista is at this point in his career wanting to have other roles.
I know.
My Spy and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right. He's not Groot. Who the fuck is Guardians of the
I think it's his
Galactic Keys.
He is
the big purple guy.
Yes, he's the big purple guy.
But not the bad big purple guy.
Right.
The other one. I don't know these fucking movies.
I forget what his name is. I mean, this is dumb because I know what it is. I just can't.
But I'm super glad there's going to be more Avengers films coming soon.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm not at all. Not at all.
Let's keep making them.
I mean, I am, I think, one of these cranky dudes who's like, we have no original ideas left, do we? We just have nothing.
I mean,
well, let's just keep on mining that IP.
And the studios are in such bad shape that they're only going to do that, right? Yeah. They're only interested in sure hits at this point.
But like, okay, I can't imagine a film like Speak No Evil. It was like a $3 million budget.
Sure.
Now, I mean, look, I don't know what it made. It did. I know it probably didn't make that much in theaters, but a movie like that's going to have legs, right? And it's going to get talking. And now they're doing a remake of it. So you can't tell me that didn't fall on somebody's radar and be like, we should do shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the weird thing to me is that.
And if you're doing shit like that, then
but now you're just stealing it.
Right. But then why aren't you stealing other things?
Right.
Like, why aren't you stealing the coffee table?
Right. Well, yeah.
I mean, like, that seems like an obvious slam dunk, right? Yep. Especially when things like The Terrifier can get 1,000 screens when it releases, or The Terrifier 2. I mean, like, and the fact that they're bankrolling a Terrifier. Of course, I mean, those movies cost nothing, right? I mean, it's a matter of it's however many buckets of blood and paint you can, face paint you can get. But I mean, like, yeah, you're right. Like, if you're going to choose something like Speak No Evil, Like, then mine it for everything. Like, why aren't you just rolling through a different English version of everything? Like, especially things that wouldn't cost you any money, aside from the names that you want to put in it. Yeah. But
the English remake of Parasite is coming in 2026. Just kidding. Okay, let's
bankrolled by Donald Trump. Don't we make good American movies anymore?
So it's a biopic.
Yes, he plays all the roles though. It's kind of like an Eddie Murphy type thing where he's in every single role.
Parasite 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about Gregg Araki's Splendor, 1999 Splendor.
Mm-hmm. There's a 1989 version of Splendor out there as well. If you're searching online, that's not the same film.
That's not the same film. This stars Kathleen Robertson, Jonathan Shake from Doom trilogy, Doom Generation, and Kelly Macdonald. I love Kelly Macdonald.
Can we not? Yeah, every time I see her or I hear her voice, and I just saw Kneecap recently, and there's kind of a Kelly Macdonald version in that movie too. But Kelly Macdonald, she's like, why didn't we make her a bigger star? Is it just because of the Irish accent? Because it's just like, I love her so much.
I do too. But I had the same question about Kathleen Robertson.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, like was it just the 90210 trappings that kind of like pigeonholed her into?
I don't know. I mean, so kind of like the same thing with Kelly Macdonald, right? Was it just the train spotting thing that then?
Right, but I mean, like that was a legitimately heralded movie.
No, I know. I mean,
like Kathleen Robinson's 90210, she just fit in with everyone else who was on 90210, right? I mean, she was just.
But she's in Nowhere. She's in this.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm trying to think about like who.
But no one in this is coming out of this. I mean, like,
no. But like, who took her place? Who took her place as the star that Kathleen Robertson should have been?
McGowan, probably.
But they're completely different. Yeah, they look different. I don't think Kathleen Robertson could do the Doom Generation.
No,
I think she could do something else. So it was like Christina Applegate, but she wasn't really like a big quote unquote star either. But this is what I'm getting at, right? So like who?
Maybe Heather Graham. Maybe, I mean, like if you're talking about those like pretty faces, but like kind of, I mean, like maybe. I mean, like Shannon Doherty. I mean, like.
But I think Cameron Diaz is a better actress. But like, was it somebody like that?
Kind of a little more glamour, a little more spit and polish.
You know, at a certain point, like they're kind of neck and neck, and then one just goes.
Right, one
becomes something else, and Kathleen Robertson does a lot of work.
Well, Diaz does big blockbuster stuff before she does her indie shit, right?
Yeah, I mean, what was her kind of like blockbuster breakout was The Mask, right? And then we've talked about Vanilla Sky on this podcast, but she did the Ed Burns She's the One film.
She did Feeling Minnesota.
Right.
You know,
that's what. Yeah.
Right. I mean, so yeah, she had big breakout roles, and then was able to like tap into that 90s wave of independent films, but then notable ones as well. Like I don't think Splendor moved the needle for anybody, right? I mean, like this wasn't anything that showed up on anybody's radar at all because it was so anti-Iraqi. I mean, like not really, but I mean, like it was so different from what he was doing.
It's a kinder, gentler Iraqi.
Yeah, it's a lesser Iraqi.
When Abel and I first met, it was like one of those Prince Charming moments. But then Zed appeared.
What?
What's your name? I go practically a year without one decent date. Now I've got two potentials at the same time.
Date them both and then it's every man for himself.
The minute I saw you, it was like a deja vu. Only with a person instead of a place.
I've done the dating other people routine before, but this seems different.
It worked. It was like the rules everybody else lived by didn't apply to us. Cut to...
You're not behaving like a rational person.
I was existing in two opposite realities. In one, I was a professional actor.
I got a job!
In the other... I was living with Beavis and Butthead.
Samuel Goldwyn Films proudly presents a sexy new comedy from Gregg Araki.
Define sex.
About 3 people who wanted it all.
I'm not gonna let you ruin your life like this.
And got more than they expected.
Love is a mysterious and baffling thing.
Who let the seat up again?
Oh, 1,000%. So Veronica 22 meets a writer and a drummer hunk at a club on Halloween. Why choose when she can have both? But then a third man comes along.
It's a nice IMDb.
Jesus fucking. But I mean, this is why I love those IMDb things, because they're just so fucking stupid.
Right.
And I'm too lazy to write my own.
And I desperately think this would be a better movie if Kelly MacDonald is in the lead than Kathleen Robertson.
I don't think it works.
You don't?
No, because I think you have to have someone in that lead who is a little more straight-laced.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think, look, I just, Kelly MacDonald doesn't look straight-laced.
Yeah, she did in No Country for Old Men.
Even then, I would say she didn't. I mean, so in No Country for Old Men, she has this attitude, right? I mean, she's very much a kind of like, okay, I love my husband, but oh my God. No, she's fantastic in that film. Yeah. I mean, she's so good in that movie.
Yeah.
She's good in everything she's in.
Yeah.
I wish there was just so much more of her. But Kathleen Robertson's character is this, I come from like the Midwest or whatever. Right. And I came to California, and you buy it. You look at her and you buy it. She's blonde hair, blue eyes. She's kind of like Naomi Watts in Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think you need someone like that in this role who is saying, I'm not going to settle for this one thing. I'm going to have everything I want. I want these 2 different types of guys, until she gets scared and sort of thinks she has to settle, right?
Well, and she also sees the kind of dirty underpinnings of living that lifestyle with 2 num-nums that kind of...
Right, but what I guess what I'm getting at is what she really wants is kind of sexual freedom.
Right.
And I think it's more effective if you have this kind of straight-laced character that she represents, one, just kind of on the face of it, just by her looks, rather than Kelly MacDonald. I mean, look, is Kelly MacDonald a better actress? Sure, yes. That's not what I'm saying.
No,
right.
But the entire time I'm watching Splendor, I'm thinking, I really wish Araki had have taken his cast from Doom Generation and made this film with that cast.
Sure.
I wish it was Rose McGowan. You can even swap Duvall and Skates.
They play different. Yeah, they play the different archetypes of each other.
But I think the happy-go-lucky Douglas Sirk screwball comedy thing.
Oh, it's a Preston Sturges thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Plays much better. I think it would have been more interesting had he taken not necessarily a piss take on the Doom Generation, but like just kind of spun that cast and put them in a similar situation, but having them live out, play out different roles.
But not in hell this time.
And not in hell, right? Yeah, where they're now in, I think there's a ton of missteps in this film, and I think it starts off with I just feel like this doesn't feel like any sort of. I understand coming out of the Doom trilogy, right? Or the apocalypse, whatever.
Because I said Doom trilogy.
Right. Yeah. The Teen Apocalypse trilogy, that you want to kind of shift gears. You've made your entire career by making angry, in your face, like films. And so to shift to see if you can do a screwball comedy in this case, I understand that impulse, but it doesn't feel like this feels like a first film. This feels like, because again, you have the ridiculous voiceover that you do not need. I'm just like, the entire time, as soon as she starts talking to the camera, and I get it because a lot of 90s films did this too. There was a lot of like breaking of the fourth wall, especially these like independent romantic comedies. There's like, there's one with Courtney Cox and Ari Gross. It's like that does the same thing. It's got Kevin Pollak in it in a weird, like young sex comedy role.
No, that makes total sense.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, when you think sex comedy, you think Kevin Pollak.
Kevin Pollak.
Right. But yeah, from the get-go, just that fourth wall breaking is terrible, and it's incessant. It never stops. She's always explaining this different scenarios, which we can clearly get from seeing.
We don't need, it's unnecessary.
Right. And then he casts, look, Skage is as good as he is in Doom Generation. He's as awful in this. Like, actually at the beginning, he's not bad when he has a little bit of like nerdy confidence and but I just can't stand Massey and Mabius. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Those guys are awful. They're awful. They're great looking guys, but they're just the best that Massey's ever been was in Waiting for Guffman. When you didn't give him anything, he was just a hunk, right? He was just a mindless bow hunk to look good.
Are you talking about Kessler?
Kessler, thank you.
I was like,
I had Mobius and Massey, and I had two S's in there.
Matt Kessler. So you're probably doing the Matt and
the Massey. Yeah, that's all of his friends call him Massey.
You're right. I forgot that you guys were close. I forgot.
So
I'm sorry. You're using
that
that familiar nickname, and I'm not in that circle, so I didn't know.
I don't know if I'm fit to run for president anymore. I think I'm going to drop out of the race. I'm going to drop out of this podcast. I'm not mentally fit to do these gymnastics.
It's okay. I've got your replacement lined up.
Right. By all evidence, she's going to be great.
Weirdly, just my dog.
But yes, so Kessler and Mabius are both awful. Mabius he was awful in Cruel Intentions, like in everything else that he in his short-lived career was in. He played the exact same role. He played the exact same way. I don't recall Kessler.
Evil.
I mean, like, yes,
Kessler was in Last Days of Disco, right?
Yeah,
that's the only other thing that.
And then Waiting for Guffman, but like those two guys. The three guys in this, as bad as like the women have been like portrayed in other Araki films, the guys come off just as bad in this movie, and like the screwball comediness of it all, like it should have been sexier, it should have been funnier, and it was none of those. Well,
things. That's the thing. Like for me, like I have no problem with Gregg Araki going, you know what, I want to make a kind of rom-com here. I want to scale back. I don't want to cut anybody's dick off this time. I don't want no one needs to turn into a cockroach. Let's just do this kind of straightforward, film about somebody who wants to have something like her own way, right? Mm-hmm. She wants to live a conventional lifestyle in an unconventional way, and how does she figure that out? Okay, this is interesting. I'm down with this, and I see the Araki traits in here. We've got this like triangle of people, which we have throughout all of his films, really, right? And how they navigate this and what it means and blah, blah, and looking for sort of like sexual understanding and identity. But there's no bite to this. And I don't even mean like violence wise, but there's just no teeth in anything. I think the closest it gets is when she's playing the truth or dare game with them. Right. And she's dictating everything, right? To get what she wants, which is to go to bed with both of them. Right. At the same time. I mean, she's building towards that and she knows what she's doing. That's the only time that I feel like there's anything there where she really has agency. Right. And I think she's supposed to have agency, but it doesn't really feel like it, right?
And the only way that Araki presents it is that she's the smart one, that she's teamed up with two dodos that, that are just completely dragging her down. And then that kind of team up against her not against her necessarily, but like they both play off of each other. And as long as one of them is not going to, do something, the other one's not going to either. And they both use that as an excuse. There's no there's no tension between them. Like they both kind of like immediately buy into these guys are supposed to be, relatively self-assured, like masculine dudes that when she's like, well, we're both going to move in and we're all going to live, they fall in line so easily. And they dig at each other, but like, Mabius is Kessler's so stupid that most of the stuff that Skage says just goes like it doesn't ever go returned. Like this is a weird version of Challengers that is also unsexy, but actually has sex in it.
Right.
A lot of it, like and a lot of like the zaniness or the wackiness that exists in his angrier films comes across as like childish. Like the boner in the morning when the sheet gets stuck and he's like, I'm sorry, there's always wood every morning. And then she kind of like it all just plays like a dime store version of Araki.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, this whole thing, I was just like, I had a really hard time for this to keep my attention. Like, and then so when she goes to the acting job and she hooks up with Mabius as the director of this film, I don't like that being, I don't, there was a lot of things that I didn't really get either. I was like, why the blue contacts? Like, why are we making a point of his eyes being so blue? And then like a lot of the visual flair that Araki usually has is still there. I think that the sequences where there are moments where you say, oh, this is clearly an Araki film, but like, I just can't imagine like this being him being happy with this output and being like, yeah, this is absolutely the film that I wanted to make. And like, this is just a hilarious, growing up with baby, like, so, she gets pregnant and she doesn't know who, and that's when she really starts to freak out. She runs away, runs into the arms of the director. She's not sleeping with him. But then she ends up, moving in with him and he ends up proposing to her. And then there's this whole graduate sequence at the end where the two guys come and like interrupt the wedding, which, and again, like all, all of the screwball comedies that we're supposed to be referencing here. Like, again, like even Nichols, like all of them are grounded in reality, right? Like this, the guys jump off the balcony way into a pool and it's like this silly ass moment. I'm like none of those films that you are supposedly mimicking have these types of scenes in them. They don't ever go so broad as to take you out of the moment. Right. And like Nichols would never do that.
No.
And neither would Cirque or Sturgis or any of these guys. Right. They would, maybe Sturgis is the right call. Cirque's not doing it. Yeah. So like all of this, and like none of these actors have the acting chops to pull off that broad of comedy either. This is not Lemon. So it's crazy.
And it's not Cary Grant. And he wanted, and Araki references Cary Grant, that he wanted to do that kind of thing. I'm like, these guys can't do Cary Grant. Like, you think about Cary Grant, you think about His Girl Friday. When you think about Cary Grant in comedy, none of these people can do that.
Well, and the dialogue doesn't allow for it either. There's no banter here. There's none of even like the crazy zany, like, or just off the wall Araki dialogue. There's
that, so like this is the thing. Like he's like caught between like these different worlds where he's not making an Araki film and he's not making a Sturgis film that he thinks he's making.
Right.
And so we just get this like muddled thing. So like you were saying, these films aren't grounded in like reality, which I think would be fine if Araki just made his version of that.
Yes.
But he didn't. He was trying to make. It was almost like, okay, I'm just gonna like do this. But not being me. And it just comes out as like this muddled fucking mess.
Had he taken the script from the Doom generation and tried to make it funny and placed these conceits in that script.
To be fair, it's funny already.
Sure.
Right.
But I mean, like, look, you don't need a American flag rape and a
no. I know. Right? Yeah.
So
those are the funniest parts of the film. To be fair.
But yeah, I was just like, man, we've hit the first one where I'm just like,
I knew we were going to have this moment. Yeah, like I knew with this one,
this is going to be the last one either.
I don't either, but I knew this was going to be the first one. As soon as I started this, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, this. And here's the thing. This movie, did you watch Design for Living?
No.
Okay. It's this movie. This movie is Design for Living, which was 1933. Gary Cooper, Miriam Hopkins, and I forget who else. Directed by Ernst Lubitsch, written by Noel Coward.
Okay, right. So, I mean, like Titans, right? I mean,
right. But I'm just saying, like, it is exactly this. It's the same fucking thing. The same fucking movie.
Right. And so at that point, like, then how do you fuck it up?
I know. Yeah.
Like, really, because that's actually a pretty interesting take, right? You're taking a 1930s, 40s movie and seeing if you can put an Araki spin on it.
Yeah.
How do you mess that up?
I don't know. But like Cooper is a painter and the other guy is a playwright. right? And then this woman is very much kind of headstrong, right? I mean, she's almost probably more modern than Robertson's character is in this. So, but it's the same fucking movie. So,
that's weird.
No, it's really weird. And it's disappointing.
And this ends up where she doesn't get married to Mabius. She doesn't get married to the director. She goes back to live with the guys.
Which is exactly what happens in Design for Living.
Right.
I'm just
she ends up having twins, and they seemingly want to raise the kids, and they're all happy-go-lucky at this point. And again, they go back to their dumb existence, and like Kessler's got some French fry job that he does, and so it's not that I care about. I don't care about the plot contrivances in this necessarily. I just feel like everyone, like aside from McDonald and Robertson, come off so poorly. The men in this are just god awful,
and they don't have to be.
They don't.
I mean, there's no reason. Like, there's no kind of artistic reason, or even like a theoretical or philosophical reason that they need to come off like this. She is. If you're trying to show her agency, it's more effective if they're not dum-dums.
Right. And I hate this portrayal of, especially when this is not that type of comedy, but I hate the portrayal of dum-dums that are just fucking like, you couldn't get out of bed in the morning kind of dum-dum.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason for Kessler to be so fucking stupid, right? That
right.
Because I mean, like, he was in a band at one point. I mean, it's not like you don't have to be, a complete drooling fool. It just,
and I mean, if because I don't even think it's effective if Araki's going for, well, here are like two basic cliche male archetypes, because it's not really successful in that either, because you've gone so far the other way.
Well, because Skage turns, and he does a heel turn right as they move in,
right?
And so at that point, now he's just petty and also stupid.
And because he's not as smart as he thinks he is, or as we're supposed to think he is. Right. So, and he's not as sensitive. I mean, because you think, okay, well, here she is. She wants the sensitive boyfriend, and like the hot, super hot boyfriend,
which has been played like 1,000 times. Right?
I know, right? But this is so bad. I mean, I guess the difference with this movie is she's like, okay, I will have them both, and we will and I will have it on my terms, or you can leave. I mean, it's like, because that's the one, I think, like, positive thing in this movie is that idea. I'm making quotes, right? The idea of that, but the execution, I think, is just awful.
I was like, ugh, okay, we get past this one.
Yeah, it was tough to get through. This was like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's
a long hour and a half.
It's a long hour and a half, and it has a post-credit sequence, which we also didn't talk about in Trap. That was a ridiculous post-credit.
But also, Trap is like less than 2 hours, but boy, it felt like more.
Yeah,
it's we were there forever. I know. Whoa.
This is an hour and 29, and then they cut back into the twins and the twins crying, and then why have that scene either? Like, I mean, so you can show that the guys are going to participate in this, that they both get a baby that they can dote over. I just was like,
no, not. It was not good.
Yeah, it's the voiceover is so bad. Like, I almost wish that, like, if you're going to give a voiceover to anybody in this movie, give it to Kelly MacDonald, because she's the voice of reason, right? Have her tell this story.
Yeah,
and then.
But why have?
Yeah. No, I get it.
Why have it?
It's not necessary. We're not as stupid as the characters you're portraying on screen.
Yeah,
we can clearly see, like, and like her, and all she's doing is vocalizing her internal conflict. And so we already know what that is.
Right. And I even think if you want to keep in those like high key lighting moments, right? Where everything's sort of dreamlike. Okay, keep those in. We know that they're kind of like her vision, or like these are what the good days feel like.
Right.
We don't need the sort of explanation. We don't need the kind of, let me walk you through this. We don't need, look, as beautiful as I think Kathleen Robertson is, I don't need her face filling up the screen, right, with the light halos in her eyes.
Right.
Too bad.
It's too bad.
Go watch Design for Living if you want to watch a movie like this.
Right.
It's a better film. It's written better. I mean, and I look, all of Araki's films before this, I think have been, I love them, and I think that they've been written well, and this one's just not.
Yeah, I mean, people have bad movies. It's fine.
So, I mean, also go watch Jules and Jim. I mean, there are like so many other better kind of versions of this.
Basically every version of this. I mean, really. This is the problem with it. It's not even fun though. No, it's because not. Again, like the characters are such, there's such stereotypes and caricatures of what you expect that. There's nothing enjoyable about this at all. There's like, aside from a few visuals, and even then, by the time that you get to those, you're just like your mind is so numbed that like even like the things that are supposed to be cutesy, right? Like the little dog and the all that stuff. Like it's just like, all right, whatever. I don't care.
No,
I just want this to be over.
It was tedious. Okay, anything else you have to say about that? Anything else you have to say in general?
Oh, I mean, lots of things, but, we'll save it for next time.
Okay. Next time, I think next time will be really interesting. I hope we've got a lot of stuff, a lot of interesting things to talk about. What the fuck? I just said interesting. Like, I'm interested.
I'm very
not interested.
I'm not so interested anymore.
Anyway, next time we have things to talk about. But until then, thank you all for listening.
And keep screaming.
Picked up the telephone and dialed the 7-digit. Said, yo, this Marquise, baby. Are you down with it? I arrived at a house, knocked on the door, not having no idea of what the night had in store. I'm like a dog in heat, a freak without warning, not having appetite for love. Cause me so horny.
You have been listening to Why Does the Wilhelm Scream with your hosts, Brock and Jason. If you liked today's episode, do us a favor and rate, review, and subscribe in whatever application you use to consume podcasts these days. You can reach us by visiting whydoesthewilhelmscream.com. If you are in the DFW area, we would love to see you at a Fort Worth Film Club event. You can learn more about those and find a full schedule at fortworthfilmclub.com. And you can learn about my foundation and how we are trying to foster the next generation of film lovers at realhousefoundation.org. That's REEL housefoundation.org. Till next time,